Hi, this is your host, Sonia Novik, and I invite you to pierce through the veil of what lies beyond the living into heaven. What is beyond what appears to be real? We invite you to explore with us what lies beyond this dimension and into many other dimensions. Come join us now.
Overflows. No one knows. It overflows. You touch my soul. Can you feel the mood here?
Welcome to Beyond the Living is the show. I'm your host, Sonia Novik, where we're putting a new spin on coaching and personal development through social broadcasting. Hi, everybody. I am your host, and tonight we are going to talk about trance channeling, and actually we might do some trance channeling tonight and invite the avatar to come in and join us and give some words of wisdom to everybody. So, I hope everybody is well. And before we begin, I wanted to make some announcements. We are going to have an amazing event in Sedona, Arizona on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. We are going to have a Ascension workshop. Yeah, you heard it right. We're talking about Ascension, and I have 6 other panelists that are experts in this field. And we are going to be doing this on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. If you want to sign up for that workshop, you can go to ascension-university.info, or you can go to Sonia Novik, which is a lot easier, as you all know my name, sonianovik.com. And feel free to go to the Ascension workshops, and you can check it out and see what we're going to be planning as the event progresses this week into the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited about that, and we are going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff there. But for now, let's talk about now and talk about some of the things that we have available for people. On my website, I actually have available, if you want to get some information on how to ascend, all the side effects about ascension, let's talk about that maybe. And if people have some questions into me once I go into a trance, I'll be going into a trance in the next, like within the half hour after the show goes for about a half hour, and allow the beings to come in and share some information with you. So that should be pretty exciting and fun. So hope everybody is well this Tuesday, and there will be no distractions today except for the ones that you bring me as questions. So one of the things that I would like to share is basically I've been really swamped and busy doing some events here locally and activating 12-strand DNA activation. And I'm going to allow the beings to actually, the avatar is going to tell you what that means, what is it for, what's the purpose of it, and what they're doing. I actually had well-known author, actually, she was on Oprah, and she came out here to Vegas to meet with me so I could do a 12-strand DNA activation with her, as well as a healing session for her. And she basically just Skyped me 2 minutes ago, and she basically said that she's had absolutely no pain since she got back, and that it's amazing and awesome, and that she can't wait to put I'm going to be doing workshops all over the United States and all over the world. I have a couple of people that have invited me to start doing workshops in Australia and also in United Kingdom. And we're going to be doing the workshop where we do the activations, the DNA 12-strand activation. And then we're going to be doing the getting your intuition in gear and getting you to actually channel yourself so that you can actually become sort of like me and get your own answers. And thereafter, actually, we're going to have the Ascension workshops that will get you prepared for 2012 and beyond. So I am all excited about that. So now that I finished with all the commercials, I'm going to ask you a favor. once I go into trance, I will not, the beings don't pay attention to the screen. So if you guys are typing stuff in, they're not going to be reading it. So Coach Steve, I'm going to need you to actually let the avatar know if there's any questions and read the questions out for them, please. And if we need to go to commercial, please verbally state it. Otherwise, I am not there to regulate things. And since I don't have a co-host that can assist me in that, that will be, that will be great. Okay, that sounds good. We'll skip commercials for now. So in the first half hour, we'll be able to do that. So one of the things that I want to share with everybody is this is just one example of many that have come and gotten their 12-strand DNA activation. And one of the things that I would like to do is give you some of the side effects that people have shared with me in terms of being activated. There's 12-strand DNA being activated and what has occurred to them. Most of the side effects are extremely positive. I will state that. A few are things that are going to come up for you that you haven't resolved. And for some, there's many things that they haven't resolved. So that's going to be intensifying things for them. So one of the things that happens a lot is when I do or when the beings, not me, when the avatar does the activations, the 12-strand DNA activations on you, they use my body. I am a trance channel, so I check out and I allow them to come into my body, and then they put their hands on people to activate them, to do the 12-strand DNA activation. One of the things somebody asked me from Australia is if I could do it over the phone. I said, no, you need to have their hand, my hands, their energy be put on you in order to be activated. So if people have that question, they're either going to have to come fly out here and meet me in Vegas, or you can set up an event in your local area. And as long as you have 50 to 100 people, I'll be more than happy to fly out to wherever you are and do this for you. To do the activations and then to do the weekend workshop. So let's get to what the side effects of the activations are. First of all the beings, there has been very few exceptions, have stated that they get feeling like they are very high, like maybe if you drank a little bit of wine and you feel that high when you have a glass of wine. But this high, actually, what I believe it is it's actually when you work out and when you feel really good, you're releasing your own hormones, and you're releasing your own good feeling kind of chemicals in your body, and that's what the activation does. And some people have said that within 24 hours to 48 hours, it's actually right after the activation, it's immediate that they sense this real high. They feel this feeling of elation and total joy, which is your natural state of being. So when the activations happen, people get they go back to that place of feeling whole and complete and being naturally high and being very, very happy and joyous. That can last anywhere from some people have a couple of days to some people have lasted over a month. Thereafter, if there's any issues to be resolved in you, any psychological, emotional issues, you will find that actually you'll start processing and you'll come off that high. One of the things that I have recommended to people is to just move the beings, actually the avatar has shared with people, to just allow the emotions to come to the surface and express them, whether it's screaming, crying, yelling, or just verbally stating the fact, whether you're alone or whether you're in a relationship with somebody and you can express yourself. Some of the people have asked me if the activations, if their partners don't do the activation with them, is that going to cost a bit of, can they lose that relationship? I believe that's entirely up to you guys, and I believe that if a person and you frequency-wise are going to raise your frequency much higher, because most of the people that we've encountered, there's very few that actually have had 2-strand DNA that are active and nothing else. Give me a second, I'm going to take a drink. All the other people that have actually gone through the activations have been minimum 6-strand DNA all the way through to about 8 or 9. There was a child the other day that had 11 strands already fully activated. And then the other side effects I will share with you is basically one of, some people get dizzy, some people end up getting like not a headache, but they get like it feels like their whole head, they have like a band around their head and it's really, really tight. Then some people actually have had issues with their sight where all of a sudden they'll start seeing things and they'll start being blind on one side almost, like they can't see on one side and the other side is purple. I'm just giving you these side effects that people have called me back with, that they have reported back to me with. Some of the other side effects have been actually pretty cool. They've been people losing weight. The other thing is that when you get 12-strand DNA activation, what will occur to you is that now, because your 12 strands are fully activated, you become much more able to manifest things good and bad. So the good part about it is if you're wanting to manifest some really great things in your life and you don't have any fear in your body, let me specify that and say that again. If no fear resides within your body, and you have only good things that you're thinking about manifesting that you want to put out as an intention, that will occur extremely quickly. All the people that have actually, I'd say like 99% of them, there's only one person that when we did the activation he said he didn't get anything out of it. Out of 99 persons, only one has stated this, and this is because he was already in a state of non-receptivity. So that also is a cause for not being able to get activated properly, but that's only happened to me once. But for everybody else that has been activated, they state that very quickly they start to manifest some of their desires that they want, law of attraction or whatever you want to call it, starts to occur to them very quickly. And the other thing that the avatar recommends and suggests is that when you do the 12-strand DNA activation and you have negative thoughts, to clear them and resolve them as quickly as possible and not repeat them. If you repeat them and you still think about them, you're hashing through them, that's going to cause a problem within you. So just know and be aware of this, and just allow yourself to express whatever feelings you have, so that you can resolve that and get into a much bigger high. The other thing is people start to end up feeling, if they're not doing the job or working at a place where they really want to be and doing the things they really want to do, what is really amazing is all of a sudden you start finding out and figuring out what your divine benefit is. So why would people, and there's a question here, so why would people want to get activated? What are the benefits? Well, I just mentioned quite a few of the benefits. One is that you are in a natural high state. The other benefit, which I was going to get to, is that you no longer live in the past and you no longer live in the future. It brings you to the present moment. It actually creates a vacuum, if you like, where you're no longer needing to worry about what happened in the past or what traumas you've had in the past. And it brings you forward to the present moment, and you really start living fully in the present moment and cherishing the moment. And not living in the future. So many people either live in the past, and those are people that are usually resentful and that are holding resentment, tend to live in the past and rehash their resentment over and over again. Or there's people that live in the future, planning, orchestrating their future and deciding how it's all going to unfold. And it's all well and fine to plan, but to live in the future and think that things are going to happen a certain way through a certain person, then you are blocking the universe from actually creating. You are blocking yourself from allowing the good to come to your life and to create what you want to, what you're desiring. So these are the benefits. When people get there's 12-strand DNA activation, they actually end up becoming more aware of the present moment and living in the present moment. That's why it's called the present, because it's a gift. Okay, so, and money starts to flow and things start to really that's been my experience, and many of the students that have gone through my courses, they've experienced that. They've experienced sort of like an uncorking, if you like, and they've started to receive financial benefits, all kinds of good things start happening in their life. This is part of the preparation for the upcoming 2012. Yes, absolutely. Once we actually go into Ascension, we already in the process of, but once we go into the 5th dimension, which will happen, in my estimation, I haven't been told that by the avatar, so I'll let you know, and that's why I'm being very clear about this. But that's all going to start happening close to and around the end of 2012 and thereafter. Once we actually dimensionally shift to the 5th dimension and no longer live here in the 3rd dimension, you will actually start to experience your sight that you have now, your normal sight, your hearing, and your all your senses are going to be kind of nullified, and you're not going to be able to do anything if you're not activated. So you'll be walking like a blind, mute, deaf, and a person that can't feel anything. So that's not going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's part of the process. Did people on Atlantis had... that's one thing that we can actually ask the avatar. You can ask them, because I don't know, but we can certainly ask them if people in Atlantis had their 12-strand DNA, were they fully activated, or even prior to that, Lemuria, or even prior to that, which is the land of Mu. That was the first, if you like, incarnation of Earth, and people that lived here on Earth, or if I should say, galaxy beings from the universe that had come here to seed this planet and to assist us in our evolvement. So I won't answer that question. I'll let the avatar answer that question. So, and now that I asked it, they'll have that in the forefront of their mind. So that's some of the things that actually you'll be experiencing. And this is going to be, if you like, a prerequisite for people that want to go into the 5th dimensional realm and after 2012 to be able to live and use your inner senses. So this is the purpose of my workshops. And all this was channeled, by the way, by the avatar. First of all, is to get people activated, their 12-strand DNA activation, and thereafter I teach them intuition and channeling classes where I teach you to actually channel the same beings that I'm channeling. And what I actually do as well is I actually teach you also to have intuition and to use your discernment and your own intuition so that you can navigate through your own life. And that's a 4-part course series. The first part of the course is actually a weekend, actually it's a one-day event now, or a weekend event, 4 hours for every, like Saturday and Sunday. And what we do is we do the beginner's intuition, and there I teach you actually how to be intuitive. And we use tarot cards. I don't use tarot cards in the regular way that other people would teach you tarot. I just have you use them with the symbols that they have so that you can do readings for people and get very accurate information. The second phase of that course is then I do a protection day or a protection couple hours where I talk about how to protect yourself from negative influences. And this is also channeled by the avatar. They channeled the golden powder for protection, and they also Solomon's seal were 2 things, and the mirror. So those are 3 things that we cover. And then the third, actually, the next 2 hours we spend channeling, and I have people bring people out to start channeling, and I count them down. I do a little bit of regression, if you like, or not regression, but hypnotherapy, and count them down so they can actually get into a relaxed state, and they can then channel. And then the last day, actually, we do some channeling, and we also talk about what events happened to them, how they're experiencing life, and if they have any questions, we answer that in the last part of the class. Then there's the intermediate class that I actually am teaching people how to do telepathy and how to actually continue to do channeling and mediumship work. So that's the third part of the course, the third, if you like, and these are 3 levels that I was told by the avatar to teach. So there's the beginners, the intermediate, and then the advanced class actually is when I teach you how to have an out-of-body experience if you've never had one. We spend most of our time doing that so that you can actually leave your body if you want to, and do some trance channeling like I do. So that's the purpose of that. Then the other thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to teach you how to break agreement with time, so that you can get to places a lot quicker and make it on time to different locations. And I teach some other things as well in the advanced course. And then there's the master's course, which is actually the avatars who, as far as I'm concerned, the masters, will be fully that whole weekend. It'll be an 8-hour day, or broken up into 2 days, where the avatar will come in and actually they'll be channeling the whole time. It's really easy for them to do that. They can be here forever and talk. So they'll be actually activating all the people that have gone through these 3 levels, and actually activating them and assisting them and getting them to be able to do 12 Strand DNA activations like I do, so that we can get a whole bunch of people out there to assist us in the workshops, and maybe they can do their own workshops and start activating a bunch of people. The purpose of doing this is that it'll prepare us quicker for the ascension process, and for the, as they say, for us to be able to go from the 3rd dimension to go to the 5th dimension and skip the 4th dimension altogether. So that is the purpose and the intent of the avatar, and they have, I guess, given me the honor of being able to do this with all of you. So that's the exciting part of it, that I'm very excited about. So what I'm going to do is, actually it's 6:23. If we want to go to commercial, we can go to commercial now if you like. And then when we come back, we'll be able to get me into a trance, and we'll invite the avatar to come here. Oh, no. Okay. No problem. That's funny. I just got a no from the studio. So anyhow, I am going to work on getting into a trance, but before I have to type something in here in the chat. So now that I've done that, I'm back. All right. So we have lots of questions instead. Wonderful. Well, let's ask those questions before I take off. So go ahead and please put them on here, Coach Steve, so I can answer them. Or what we can do is, when I am in trance, if you would be kind enough, Coach Steve, to speak them out loud and ask the avatar, because all they're going to be doing is, okay, great. All they'll be doing is answering questions and actually talking about these activations, what their intent and purpose is, and people in Atlantis, if they were actually, if they were 12 strand, or were they like us. So I'm going to take off, and you guys have a great time. And Coach Steve, do me a favor, when we're down to the last part of the hour, just let the avatar know that the session's over, and if they could bring me back, and they will say goodbye, and I'll come back. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys when I get back.
Okay, so welcome everybody. You are listening and watching Sonia going into trance, and she will be channeling, and I'll be asking the questions as they come in from all the different chat rooms that we're in. So welcome Stickum listeners, Block TV, Now Media, Real Coaching Radio, and My Arts for Living, and everybody else that's watching us and listening to us on the planet. So I believe our first question was, did the people or beings on Atlantis really had 12 strands of DNA?
Welcome, everybody. We have Thoth here, and I have Commander Ashtar. So we understand you have a few questions for us. One of the questions that we did and we do audit what our little one is doing. Our little one is the person that's sitting in front of your screen. We don't dare call her name because then she'll come back. So if you want to ask her questions, please ask the little one. This is our endearing name for her. Atlantis, I am Thoth, and I am Thoth the Atlantean. I'm known for that, and I decided to come in here so I can explain to you what occurred in Atlantis and what DNA strands were activated or which ones weren't. Actually, during the time of Atlantis, there were a group of high priests that had their 12 strands fully activated. Not every being, if you like, we call humans beings, were actually activated at the time. This was part of your evolvement and your development, and this is why we did not have everybody there active. There was a priesthood, and I was part of that in that time frame, if you like, that we were 12 strand fully activated, and we would be able to travel through time and space, which is something you'll be able to do as you progress with your DNA activation and you become fully using your 12 strands. Not fully activated, but fully using your 12 strands. You'll be able to walk through walls, if you like. You'll be able to be telepathic and speak to others with your mind. You'll be able to actually go to other dimensions and come back. These are the benefits, if you like, of a DNA 12-strand activation. And because your planet is actually ascending to a much higher frequency than this third dimension that you live in, which basically will cause you great uncomfortableness, not harm, but uncomfortableness if you are not 12-strand DNA activated, because you will not be able to see, feel, hear, or smell or taste in the fifth dimension. So this is why we have sent our little one to do all these activations and to get everybody ready for this process that's upcoming in your planet. So we understand you have some questions, so please feel free to ask us.
Yes, we have a question from another chat room, and the question is, it's regarding false guides.
Yes.
I understand that there are some lower astral beings whom actually enjoy coming to us and act like our guide to attempt to turn us off our path or just mess with us.
Mm-hmm.
What is the way for us that you could recommend to protect ourselves from false guides?
Well, first of all, let's say this to you. If you are, and we're going to explain it to you as energy so that you have a comprehension of it. If you are a being that is either navigating through your physical life with 12-strand or 10-strand or 6-strand or 4-strand, and you're at a certain vibrational frequency range, we're going to talk about vibrational frequency range as we only see you as that. Understand that in our perspective, there's no good or bad. There's no evil or great. It just is energy. So we'll speak upon it as you would understand it, so you have a concept of it. If you are
Uh-oh. We lost audio.
Oh.
Okay, it's back.
Very good. So one of the things that you'll be able to do, if you're fortunate enough at this point in time to have our little one activate your 12-strand DNA, is you will cease to have that kind of experience. Or if there's other beings out there that are actually channeling us, which there are in different parts of the world, and you are in their presence, you'll be very aware of the vibrational frequency and the energy that comes through, as opposed to the low frequency that comes from the astral beings that play games, as you said. Part of it is for your learning and understanding and for you to gain discernment. So for those beings that are channeling these lower vibrational frequency astral plane beings, if you like, it is for you to gain discernment between that and gaining discernment between us, if you like. Our frequency is very, very high, and you'll have a tingling that comes at the crown. We never come through the back of your neck. Very rarely does that occur. And you feel a warm, fuzzy feeling. You don't feel a cold and uncomfortable feeling. As a matter of fact, you feel like you're floating on clouds, if you like. So, for those beings that are conscious channels, that's the sense that they get when we come in. And they have an elevation of their frequency into a joyful state, a much more joyful state. The astral plane beings don't have that capability of being able to mimic our vibrational frequency. They have the capability of mimicking maybe certain phrases and words that are used, if you like, but absolutely cannot mimic the vibrational frequency. So this is part of why our little one is out there teaching intuition, is so that you can gain discernment for yourself. And once you readily experience the frequency that comes through her, which is us, then you'll have an understanding and you'll have a sense, not only a sense, but you'll have it in your being to know the difference between both. Hopefully that answers your question. Next question.
Okay, great. Okay, here's the next question. Can the human body support more than one soul at the same time? And is this the norm?
It is not the norm, and yes, it can support more than one soul. A human body can support, actually, some beings have had either us, we are non-physical at this point, yes, especially me, Thoth. I'm not in a physical body anymore. And then there is Ashtar, who is in a physical body, Commander Ashtar. And yes, when we come through and do this work through our little one and others, you can support as many as 1,000 of us if you have the vibrational frequency high enough in you to be able to support us. Now, for those beings, let's separate two different things here. There is us coming in and sharing knowledge and information with you and sharing our vibrational frequency so we can raise the vibrational frequency of your planet. And then there is the disembodied beings, or like you stated, these astral plane beings that are lower vibrational frequency, and sometimes they will come in and take domain of your body, or live and squat, as our little one likes to say, in your body. And in some cases, our little one has actually extracted 5 or 6 different beings that actually had been deceased, that were humans such as you, and were squatting or living in this person's body. So there can be many different beings. Sometimes when you call it possession, it's not really possession. It's actually those beings have permitted and allowed themselves to open up to these frequencies, lower frequencies, and then we'll explain the purpose of it and why that has occurred, by the way, as well, of these situations is, first of all, every single human being, within you, within your body, you have what we call the tree of life. Now, if you want to learn about the tree of life, go on your internet, search on YouTube, and type in tree of life, and you'll have an understanding of what this is. The tree of life is basically, it's a celestial tree, if you like, that does not, it exists on your planet, but not right in front of you. And then, because you are the microcosm of this planet, if you like, it is the macrocosm of you. You have within you the same tree of light. Some beings have their tree that is so bright within them that they actually attract, if you like, these dark beings or these disembodied souls that are looking for their way home. And since you were so gracious to be open and allow them in, they pop into your body. So that's why some beings act strangely differently thereafter and have no understanding of why this is occurring to them, and that some strange things are happening to them and they feel possessed. So Those are lower vibrational frequency beings. The higher vibrational frequency beings, when you ask us to leave your body, will leave it immediately. So our little one has trained her students to leave their body, ask us to leave their body gently so that it's not a shock to you. Therefore, that is my explanation, if you like, of these two different parameters that occur in a human body, and hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. We are waiting for a question to come in.
Very well.
I think it's almost ready. Somebody's
Very
typing
good.
a question
These
right
are-
now.
These are very good questions, by the way. And these are all in preparation for your ascension process. Even those of you that have not gotten 12-strand DNA activations and you're not activated, will be able to, with doing a lot of inner work and doing a lot of meditation, be able to raise your frequency. And those of you that do a lot of healing with such elements as Reiki, NET, and several other modalities of that nature, do raise your vibrational frequency. The other thing that greatly raises your vibrational frequency is to be in a state of joy and love on a continual basis. And with minimizing anger, depression, sadness. When those kind of feelings occur to you and there are continual in your being, your frequency is lower than when you're in joy and happiness, which is your natural state. So do we have any more questions?
Yeah, we got the question in. Is there a
Very
difference
good.
between acceptance and allowance, or are these just semantics?
These are, it depends on you. You see, it depends on how you interpret these two words. So they're left for your own interpretation. For some, it could be semantics. For others, acceptance could mean the same thing as allowing. So it just depends on your perception. This is the best way you can answer that question. That it's usually your perception that has the causal effect for you to be able to shift your vibrational frequency or change your life to a higher purpose. And does that answer your question?
Okay, well, it's a little bit difficult for us to get those responses from all those chat rooms, but I assume so. But here's another question. Is it correct to assume that when we are out of here, and I guess this question is being asked in regards to 2012.
All right.
That if we are ascending, are we actually collecting all of our previous incarnations and returning to our higher self? Is that what we can expect?
That is a part of what you can expect, absolutely. But there's other components that have been left out in terms of your ascension process. And one of the things that is quite interesting to us is part of your ascension process is coming to terms with your major issue this lifetime that you have actually carried over from previous lifetimes. So the thing that actually blocks you from being successful, happy, joyous, and living your purpose, those are the things that if you can work on those things and choose to work on those things, it will liberate you to ascend a lot quicker. Then what occurs is that all of what you spoke of happens in the process of you leaving this dimensional frequency and raising yourself to the fifth dimensional frequency. Once you're in the fifth dimensional frequency, then all those lifetimes will come and all the memories will start to flood into your being. And you will start to be able to process through them, and then ultimately becoming your higher self, and you will be one in a body, not without a body. So let's specify that. For some of you that are questioning and wondering about that, we can hear many of your thoughts. And one of the thoughts is, well, what about if we can do this without the body and you cannot? you will be, one of your requirements is to take your body with you. So yes, to answer your question, that is the process. But the other process of unfoldment for you, and this is what the 12-strand DNA activation does for many of you that allow it, is to bring out into the open the deepest, darkest places in you that have been held there and kept there in the dark for fear of moving them out into the light and feeling the pain of the major processes or the major things that your higher self and you yourself chose to experience in this lifetime. They were quite painful. So once you clear those things, and there are beings such as Lily Finch that has courses that actually assist you in that process of clearing, if you cannot do it on your own, so that you can then become who you truly are and become your higher self and yourself, and your ego and all of it will be one. So is there any other questions?
Yes, there's a question from Block TV. Can anyone have 12 strands of DNA if they want to?
Let's answer this question. Every one of you has 368 strands of DNA that are dormant. Not all of them are dormant, but you'll all have 368 strands of DNA, period, end of story. You actually have, and you can, on your own, if you do all of this work and much more, and you're able to raise your frequency, you may be able to be 12-strand activated. There are some beings here that have accomplished this, and it is something that is feasible and possible to do. So yes, to answer your question, but not most beings have too much going on in their lives and too much barriers, too much issues, if you like, that causes them not to be a wide open vessel to be able to receive the activation themselves and do it for themselves.
Okay. We got another question.
Yes.
Am I wise assuming that learning OBE, out-of-body experiences, is the most powerful tool we can learn on this third density?
Yes. This is very important for you because if you choose to ascend, it will be sort of the same. You'll get the same feeling that you do when you have an out-of-body experience. It's very similar, by the way. Or for those of all you that are listening that are choosing to basically leave your bodies and perish, leave your shell behind, if you like, and die, what you call dying, which is not actually dying at all. Your spirit lives forever, but your body does, you leave your body behind, your body temple. So yes, that is a very, very wise thing to do, is to learn how to have an out-of-body experience and continue on your journey with that. One of the things that we recommend and suggest, that I recommend and suggest, is that when you're going to do this and you're going to attempt this on your own, make sure to ask for you to be divinely guided right through into the ethereal and celestial planes, as opposed to being stuck in the astral plane. The astral plane, we want you to understand, is where you all of you beings that have a body, physical beings, human beings, leave your trash, your mental trash, is in the astral plane. And this is where all your horror movies get created. This is where all those ideas come from. So if you don't want to have an adventure in the astral plane fighting demons and vampires and werewolves and all those lovely things that all of you have created, we recommend and suggest that you actually move on right up to the ethereal plane, where the fairies and the gnomes and the dwarfs and all the elves live, and the unicorns and many other beings such as that, and you'll have a wonderful, beautiful experience. Or you can move right up to our plane if you're able to. So
okay, there's an interesting question in Block TV. Silvertongue is asking if you are God.
Yes, and so are you. You, in your sacred texts, have written right there in front of your eyes, in many different sacred texts, you are made in the likeness and image of God. Therefore, you are gods and goddesses. So all of you have that within you.
Well, here's a very interesting question from the MyRX for Living chat room. She's asking, I saw a reference to a Jewish funeral on television in which it was stated that the custom was to cover up the mirrors while the mourners were around. The mourners, I'm sorry. Have you ever heard of this phenomenon? There's a lot of misspelling in the chat. Sorry.
Actually, that was an old practice that was used in ancient Jewish times, or more like the Israelis, the original Israelites, as we like to call them, who came, by the way, from Atlantis as well. And then the Egyptians, and that whole thing unfolded, and Syria, et cetera, et cetera. And one of these days we'll get into a discourse about this when we're invited back here again, and we'll tell you the history of the planet. But for now, to get back to focus on this putting drapes over mirrors, this is something that was done in ancient times so that you would not be reminded of the pain that you have in front of your face. This is the ancient Jewish tradition, is to basically to not have that reminder in front of you, and not have the reminder of the beings that lived with you in physical form. So yes, we have heard of this, and this is part of their process, if you like, of mourning. Hopefully that answers that question.
Okay. Here is a very interesting question, and it references a quote. And the quote is from Gandhi. And here's the quote. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. I was hoping that you could comment on that.
Well, would you like us to comment in terms... You see, from our perspective, you got to understand this, that we live on a plane where there is no judgment, there is no good and bad, there is no black and white, there is no male, there is no female, even though I was male in my incarnation as Thoth, the Atlantean. So for us to give you a comment in terms of that perspective, that is a very third dimensional type of question, or not necessarily question, but quote. But here is the golden rule that was given to the Israelites by Moses and was destroyed. Do unto others as you would do unto yourself. This includes every single living organism on your planet, not just other humans, but other animals, other plant life, other rock and mineral life. So we will say it very plainly that a nation and your nations and all the nations on the planet, if they would have abided by that golden one rule that we gave, that was given unto Moses to take to the Israelites, which was destroyed due to the fact that the Israelites had created a golden calf to replace their God, if you like, and we're praying to that and many other things. And when Moses came down, he was a bit upset, broke it, and then came back up, and then he was given another 10 commandments. And this is why you have so many laws on your planet. It is because of that single incident that created this rift, if you like, of continual control. And now you're leaving that and going into what we call the golden age, where you will not be needing to have controls anymore. So to answer that, in our perspective, is treat others as you would like to be treated. Treat animals, plant life, sea life, any life, as you would treat yourself.
Okay, thank you. Little one, we have another question.
Yes.
How did ancient Earthers arrive on the planet Earth, and who created them?
Well, that's quite a big discourse, and will probably take up most of the time that you have allotted for us here. You actually, Earthers, did not arrive here. There's no such thing as an Earther. This planet was created for it to be seeded with life. Not only yourselves, but also animals. And I will relinquish my position here as Thoth, because this is actually Commander Ashtar's specialty. He is our scientist, and he's the one that created most of the things that you have on this planet. So we will take a few seconds to allow him to come in and speak to you about this, since this is not my specialty. So I bid you all goodbye, and we'll see you soon. Be well. Hello, everybody. I'm Commander Ashtar, and I understand you have some questions about your planet and when actually you had man, as you know, human, walking on your planet. First of all, let's explain to you what the word human means so that you have a great understanding of it. Human is a component of 3 different races that actually were merged to create you in your physical present bodies. The first one was basically the reptilian race, which you do have on your planet, and you're quite familiar with that. You can search that up on your internet. There's lots about them. Then there's the Nephilim, which are actually the archangels that came here and became physical form. There's the Anunnaki, actually, who did not merge, because you're much smaller, if you like, beings than the Anunnaki. They are about 70 feet tall. Their shortest being that is in existence is maybe 30 feet tall or 35 feet. The majority of them in the are 70, 75 feet tall. And they look exactly like you. They're just much, much taller, much, much bigger. So there's the reptilian. And this is a whole story that I'll go into in the future when we are invited back. But they merged Lucy, which is a biped monkey that actually was reproduced on your planet. That became a monkey that was walking on 2 feet, and you can search that on your internet as well. And the reptilian race merged with Lucy because they made the perfect slave. Our little one calls them flatheads because they did not have much of a brain to speak of, even though they were monkeys. They did not have a frontal lobe, yes, and you can search this as well on your internet and get verification of this. And they merged with the reptilians, or vice versa. This was actually done in labs, by the way. This was genetically engineered, not physically done, where they merged sexually. We want to make that very clear. And when that occurred, then the Nephilim, or the archangels, came and actually merged their DNA with these 2 components. And that's part of the Nephilim, actually, are very similar to you, except they do have wings, by the way. Short, small, and all kinds of sizes. And so they merged their energy, and the reason why they did that is that they are the celestial beings, if you like. They are the ones that actually are, we call the great ones, that came here and actually mix their blood, if you like, their DNA with your DNA. So you have a celestial aspect of you, you have a reptilian aspect of you, and you have a monkey, if you like, aspect of you, and all that is located in your brain. You have a reptilian brain in the back of your head. You have the frontal lobe that actually is your celestial brain, as we like to call it, or your angelic brain. And then in the middle and back part of your brain, you have the monkey brain, if you like. The purpose and the intent of this was to actually merge all 3 races so that you could become much more than your predecessors. That was the purpose of it, and we can get into that later on. And another time when we're invited here to this event, we will explain to you the purpose of it and how it occurred and when it occurred. And your planet has had 4 or 5 this is going to be its 5th incarnation, and we can talk about that. And when you'll know that the shift where this dimension collapses and we go into the 5th dimension, or you all go into the 5th dimension that choose to go there. So hopefully that answered your question. Any other questions for Commander Ashtar?
No, I don't believe so. We're actually coming to the end of the show.
Very well.
So we want to thank you so much. There was a lot of incredible questions.
Our pleasure, and thank you so much for being open and staying true to yourselves and questioning your true origins. For this will start to unravel all kinds of divine things for you. So we will cease to be here in this body and go to our place of where a residence, and we'll bring our little one back if there are no more questions and there are no more comments that we need to address.
Yeah, there are no more questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste. And you are the God that is within you that we are bowing to as the God within us. And so it is. Okay, it doesn't take me that long to come back. Well, I hope that was a great show, and that a lot of people got a lot of benefit out of it. I was a little privy to some of it, but not much, because I am. So I'll have to go listen to the rebroadcast and listen to the information they gave. But thank you, Coach Steve, for helping me out with the questions and stuff. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited. I'm actually their messenger, and that they come through and give this phenomenal information so that people don't, get misinformed. And the thing I love about them, I know they always say that you can verify this, and they give proof and verification all the time that they are who they say they are. So I'm very excited about it. Oh, cool. So I'll be able to watch it on video or audio, and you guys can download it too to an MP3 and keep on listening to it, or come back to realcoachingradio.com and listen to these and look at the rebroadcast. So thanks, Coach Steve. Is there anything else we want to talk about or say? I know we're coming to the end of the hour here. Or should we just close by saying come to our next shows, which are tomorrow? And I'm not sure who's doing what, but because it's not in front of me. I know there's B with the internet business strategies, and then there's and one before that, and then I think Lily's is tomorrow. I'll be attending that, just supporting her. She'll be doing that show tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Pacific or 7:30 p.m. Eastern, so come and join us on that show. Very good. Well, I'm going to wrap it up then. I'm going to wish everybody to have a good evening, and we'll be back next week with the avatar and more of this information. So tune in next week so you can get more information about this. And I will just let you know, please go to my website, sonianovic.com, SONIANOVICK.com, and go to the Ascension Workshop part of the page. And if you're drawn to go to Sedona, we are going to be doing an activation, a crystalline grid activation at the portals, where in a negative vortex, releasing all your blockages, and in a positive vortex at the end of the workshop, the avatar is going to come in and do this for us, and we are going to be actually putting into it all the things that you want to manifest in your current time frame. So that's going to be very exciting, and we're going to go to a positive vortex to do that. So I'm very excited about that, and you can go sign up for that on sonianovic.com or on ascensionuniversity.info, and Ascension University is all one word. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, Coach Steve. Nan, you've been fantastic, and I bid you good night, and we'll see you next week.
Hi, this is your host, Sonia Novik, and I invite you to pierce through the veil of what lies beyond the living into heaven. What is beyond what appears to be real? We invite you to explore with us what lies beyond this dimension and into many other dimensions. Come join us now.
touch my soul.